You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. The Philippines remains true to its commitment to strengthen ties with Russia. Following President Rodrigo Duterte's second visit to Moscow early October, the two countries signed at least 10 business deals amounting to more than 600 million pesos. Russia also vows to cooperate with the Philippines in its anti-terrorism efforts and opens up the possibility of entering into a nuclear deal. Let's go straight to the source of the story. Russian ambassador to the Philippines, Igor Khovaev. We have you almost every year. Thank you for giving us your time, Ambassador.
It's always a pleasure for me, both pleasure and challenge.
Ambassador,
because as a rule, all your questions are quite challenging.
And you are able to answer them very well. Very interesting times, definitely, for the Philippines and Russia. The president was there together with members of his cabinet and even members of Congress. They all looked like they had a really great time in Russia. Can you just give us, a little bit of, inside story on how the trip was of the president?
It was a very successful visit, definitely. So you have just discussed the rehabilitation program of the Marawi city. You remember that the first visit by His Excellency President Duterte to Russia was cut short because of the terrorist attack on Marawi. And of course, so the security issues, defense issues, they were discussed at the bilateral talks between our two presidents, between President Duterte and Russian Prime Minister Medvedev, and President Putin was happy to say that since at that time, since May 2017, the security situation in the Philippines has been substantially improved. And he confirmed once again the commitment of the Russian Federation to continue to help our Philippine partners in this field. What's really important what's most important in my view is not the number of signed agreements. There is something even more important. It's, I would say, the confirmation of the bilateral strong commitment to do our best in order to make our two nations closer to each other. So, and both two sides identified a number of specific fields of cooperation we should focus on, and I believe that we are on the right track.
There are, though, well, number one is, as you mentioned a while ago, Ambassador, President Putin also vowing to support the Philippines, as you mentioned a while ago, on its fight against terrorism. Exactly what can we expect from Russia?
So you can expect the help, the assistance of any kind. So we are ready to supply our sophisticated arms and weapons. We are ready to help you in staff training. We are ready to share our experience. We have a quite rich experience how to fight terrorism. Experience, and our experience is really useful. And of course, we are ready to help your country to develop your own defense industry. And we are also, we also share specified information in this respect.
I see.
So you see, all venues of cooperation in this field are open. So it's a very strong political commitment.
Would there be a focus, Ambassador, on which Russia would zero in on trying to help the Philippines in any industry? Would there be a specific focus? For example, I mean, there's one. It's quite controversial that there's an agreement on the possibility exploring the nuclear power plants in the country. This is something we discussed, I remember, the last time you were here, but that was part of the agreement, 10 agreements signed during the last visit of the president. Can you tell us more about this?
First of all, I would like to emphasize that it's up to you, Filipinos, to decide whether you'll use sophisticated nuclear technologies or not. As for us, Russians, and it was confirmed at the bilateral talk between our two presidents, so we are ready to discuss any option of cooperation. We are ready to offer our sophisticated nuclear technologies. We are ready to help you build nuclear power plants, so including, for example, the floating nuclear barges. Right. So it's because Russia has the most sophisticated, the safest nuclear technologies. If I'm not mistaken, now There are nuclear power facilities functioning in more than 30 countries around the world, and no incidents. No incident happened at them. So nuclear power facilities built by Russia. So we're ready to help you.
So,
but once again, it's up to you, Filipinos, to decide whether you need it or not.
Or
if you do, we are ready to help.
Or if it's constitutional, under the laws of the Philippines. So it is confirmed that Rosatom State Atomic Energy Corporation was offering to build what is called this floating nuclear power plant in the Philippines. Why is it a floating nuclear power plant, Ambassador? Could you help us understand that?
So it's like a special vessel, a special ship, which is able to generate electricity. So this ship is sailing around the world, so it can come to any country and to leave when it's needed. So, that's all.
So
it's very convenient.
So it doesn't mean that you are just waiting for the Philippines really to give the go signal for this? Because you're saying you're ready. It's really just up to the Philippines to decide whether we are going to do this or not.
Definitely.
All right.
So the final say always belongs to you, Filipinos.
Because that was part of the agreement, and then President Rodrigo Duterte had said that he needs to look into this because this may be unconstitutional. We'll be taking a very short break. We'll be right back. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. Our guest today, Russian ambassador to the Philippines, Igor Khovaev. So the ambassador telling me that it's only Russia that builds this kind of a ship that generates nuclear power.
It's true.
And you have one in Russia right now?
Yeah. It's already functioning.
And you're saying, Ambassador...
It's already generating electricity.
How much, do you know how much electricity it generates? That's too technical, possibly.
Oh, if I'm not mistaken, so I'm sorry, but I'm not really familiar with the technical details. If I'm not mistaken, the capacity is about 10,000 megawatts.
I see. And you're saying...
So it's enough to provide...
electricity for?
One small island with electricity. One small province of your country.
So you're saying that even during the break, the ambassador was telling me it's really up to the Philippines to say yes to this because it's ready. It's there.
We can only offer. It's up to you to decide to accept our offer or not.
And accepting the offer would mean what? What kind of business venture would that be, Ambassador? Would you know?
We're ready to discuss any option. But to be frank, so it's quite early. It's too early to discuss this subject in such practical details.
So let's talk about its safety, because there's questions, obviously, on the safety of nuclear technology. How safe has there been? Well, we're not sure if this is the actual ship, because even the ambassador is not sure if this is the one. However, just let's talk about the safety of this ship, sir. When was this built?
What can be said in this respect, except for the fact that the development of our nuclear industry has no incident? By the way, Chernobyl power station is located in Ukraine, not in Russia. Just for your better geographical knowledge, okay?
Okay. How about environmental concerns? Are there... what are the possible effects of nuclear energy on the environment?
So it's absolutely prevented.
Absolutely?
Absolutely. So I'm saying again, Russia has the safest technologies in this respect, and that's why our floating nuclear plant, barge, is located now in the most sensitive, from the ecological point of view, area. The Arctic area.
That's where it is?
Yeah. No danger. No danger to the environment.
Really? You only have one, sir?
So in any case, even in the case of emergency, this ship can be transferred to any other area.
It can be moved.
It can come at any time.
It can go.
It can leave at any moment, too.
All right. Okay, so that's one of the agreements or something that needs to be explored between the Philippines. Not needs to be. It was a possibility between the Philippines and Russia. But I'm also interested in this, Ambassador. You know, trade between Russia and the Philippines in 2016 was about $211 million. In 2019, that's at $1.2 billion. That's possibly, I don't know, 500% increase in the past 3 years. What is...
Yes, we have a very positive trend in this respect, and just one more example. So last year, the trade volume was reached 1.2 billion US dollars. So it doubled up as compared with the previous year.
Right.
And this year, the trade volume is growing again and again. So we have really good prospects, and now we are elaborating. We are working on a few very promising projects which will allow us to substantially increase the trade of volume.
Such as?
Including to a considerable extent due to the creation of a new bridge between our two countries, the energy bridge. So we have just discussed the possibility of using nuclear technologies, but our energy cooperation is not limited to the nuclear technologies. So Russia is an energy superpower. So we are ready. We are ready to supply energy resources to your country.
Since this warming of relations, Ambassador...
And to be a new reliable partner, a new reliable supplier of energy resources to your growing economy. It will help you increase the competitiveness of your economy.
That's trade. Also, I was saying a while ago, Ambassador, since the warming of ties between the Philippines and Russia, when you were here, I think this is your third guesting with us. We were even talking about port calls way back. You were telling us that there would be a port call between the two countries, and that actually has happened between the two countries. Russia to the Philippines, Philippines to Russia as well.
Yeah, so it's a new page in the history of our bilateral relationship. And we will continue the exchanges of port calls.
Ambassador, what about labor deals with Russia, possibly sending Filipinos to Russia to work there?
Definitely, it's very possible. I can tell you more. President Putin told His Excellency President Duterte, Filipinos are most welcome. We need additional labor resources, and in this respect, Filipinos are most welcome in Russia.
What job
But
are you
before
looking
that,
at?
we need to solve one problem. We need to build a robust legal basis for our cooperation in this quite sensitive field. What does it mean? It means that we have the legal basis efficiently protecting well the rights and legitimate interests of both employers and employees. And that's why we propose that a relevant agreement on governmental level should be signed.
Right. Possibly.
Governmental means that all competent agencies will be involved into this deal.
Such
and
as?
all of them will be responsible for
Labor
the
Department,
implementation of the obligations.
the Labor Department,
Once
the Foreign
again,
Affairs Department.
so the interests of people must be well protected. We should do our best in order to prevent any incidents in this field.
But what job are you seeing that Filipinos can do in Russia?
Oh, many different jobs. So Filipinos.
What would be the demand?
So we need labor resources in many industries. In the oil industry, for example, we need Philippine engineers from your country. And by the way, so a group of Philippine engineers, so they are working in the Russian oil industry in the Far Eastern region.
Really?
Of course, many Russian families will be happy to have housemates, babysitters,
Helpers, yeah. Nannies.
caregivers, nannies from the Philippines. So just, I can tell you privately. So my mama, she's 85 years old. She stays with me here in Manila. And we have a very good and excellent Philippine caregiver.
Right.
I am very grateful.
So good to
I'm
hear.
very grateful to her because for us, she's like a member of our family. So I believe that the Philippine caregivers are the best ones.
They should be treated as such, sir, members of the family. I know that this is also very important to Filipinos. Visa requirements to Russia. Do we still need a visa to Russia?
Unfortunately, yes, you do. You still need visas. But there are two brilliant exceptions. So now you Filipinos, you can visit with no visa St. Petersburg
St. Petersburg?
and the Kaliningrad region. Kaliningrad region.
Okay, no visa there.
So let's move step by step. I think it's a very good first step, facilitating, encouraging people-to-people contacts. And I believe that we'll continue on this path, definitely. So I would like to take this opportunity and to invite all Filipinos, please go to Russia, discover my country, and you'll see that, as I usually say, that my country is much, much different from those aggressive Russian guys as portrayed by Hollywood movies. Absolutely.
It's not what's being seen in the movies. Huh?
Definitely. And you, Filipinos, you'll see that we Russians and you Filipinos, we have a lot in common.
Really?
That's why we have all preconditions to be good friends and close partners. And the recent successful visit by His Excellency President Duterte once again confirmed that it's time to build a new unprecedented partnership between our two countries. So that's why President Putin called the Philippines is a very important partner in the Asia-Pacific region for us.
Russian Ambassador to the Philippines, Igor Khovaev. Sir, always a pleasure to have you. I'm sure we'll have you again in a year.
Please, don't forget to invite me.
No, never, sir. Maraming salamat po sa inyo.
Maraming salamat po.
Thank you for joining
Mabuhay.
us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.